and welcome to this week's episode of Fun with Whole Foods. This week we are looking at homemade protein brownies, which, who doesn't love a brownie? These are squidgy, fudgy, lowish in sugar, and they're just nicer than the commercial ones that have been wrapped up and taste a bit stale, as with the cookies. So I'm going to start off by mixing our dry ingredients together. So you want 1/4 cup of pea protein in there, and 1/8 cup of cocoa. I need to buy more cocoa. And 30 grams of chopped nuts. I'm using walnuts for traditional reasons, but you can use any nut you like. And finally, in the dry ingredients, we're going to throw in 20 grams of chocolate chips. I'm using Dr. Oetker extra dark ones because they don't have a lot of sugar in. So just give that a quick little stir. Just get it all blended. We're not using raisin agent because I like them nice and dense and fudgy. If you like your brownies a little bit more cakey, then by all means add some raisin agent. I don't want that bowl yet. So we're next going to blend the wet ingredients together. So you want about 1/2 can of drained chickpeas, which is around 120 grams. You pop that into a vessel from which you are going to blend. So you can do it in a jug blender. I'm using this for my stick blender. 1/2 avocado, nice and ripe, riper the better. Yeah, I don't want to blend it directly in a glass bowl. I like the height of this little jug for blending stuff. 2 eggs. If you're looking to make these vegan friendly, you can use vegan egg substitute, but it will affect the protein content. They won't be quite as protein rich. Yacon syrup. This is my gooey is the wrong word. This is my sugar substitute of choice when I use one. It's got very low GI, it's got a GI of 1, and there's only 24 grams per 100 grams of sugar in this, and 40 grams of fibre. So yeah, it tastes a little bit caramelised, but that's fine in brownies. It gives it a fudgy flavour. That's the word I was looking for, not gooey, fudgy. Gives them a fudgy flavour, helps the consistency, and it gives them a bit more sweetness as well. If you can't get hold of yacon syrup, or you don't care so much about the sugar as I do, then by all means substitute in maple syrup or whatever form of sweeteningness you like. Now we're going to use, do you remember Cookie Week? We made our own vanilla extract using the leftover pods. We're going to use some of that today. I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons. I want quite a strong vanilla-y flavour. I love vanilla and chocolate. They complement really well. Vanilla to me just brings out the richness. If you don't like it, try a couple of teaspoons of espresso or something in there instead. I need to blend all the wet ingredients together. This looks super unappetising, but all the best things do in the beginning. So scrape, it's going to be a fairly thickish liquid, off into another mixing bowl. If you've used like a Kenwood type food processor for this, you won't need to transfer it to a bowl. You can just add the dry ingredients into the blender and mix like that. Maybe not with the blender attachments because there's bits, but yeah, I need to get this out of here. And I'm from experience, you want to add the dry ingredients to the wet. I tried doing it the other way around and trying to mix them all together was a nightmare. So chuck your dry ingredients into the lovely goopy mess and mixy mixy mix. It's very quickly going to come together. There we go. All together, and that looks like a fairly standard cake batter. So I make little amounts. This is a little tiny brownie pan, probably about half the size of a normal pan. I don't know. I will get the measurements and make sure I've popped them, put them in the written recipe for you guys. You can always adjust the size of pans. There's stuff online that shows you how to do it by folding up kitchen foil and using that to break up the pans to make them half size. Because I think this is roughly a half size brownie pan. So tip mixture into pan. I grease mine with butter because I like the salty crispiness around the edges when you do that. But honestly, however you like to grease or prepare a pan. And then you want to chuck it into an oven at gas mark 6 for 12 minutes. Ooh. I forgot to get double ingredients this week. So here's one I made yesterday. I'm going to get a bowl. And they dry out a little bit overnight. But it sinks as it cooks. And they reheat nicely. That's just been in the top oven reheating while we've been chatting. And they are squidgy, gooey goodness. They're absolutely lush. And eat them as they are. Have them with ice cream, whipped cream, however you enjoy it. Really best eaten the day they're cooked. They will freeze beautifully if you individually wrap them and shove them in your freezer and get them out as and when you want a protein brownie. I hope you enjoyed this week, and I will see you again next week for another episode of Fun with Whole Foods.